It was a take foul. She was trying to prevent a wide open layup, although one could argue that she might have missed it anyway.
The moment Flau'jae Johnson uttered the words, "We're not friends," it was like a switch had been flipped in the world of women's basketball. It wasn't just gossip. It was a crack in the very foundation of what fans thought was an unshakable bond between two rising stars. Angel Reese and Flau'jae weren't just teammates at LSU. They were sisters in the trenches, national champions, women who bled on the court together, rose through the noise together, and celebrated like royalty. But behind the glitz and the camera flashes, something had been festering. And now, it was out in the open for everyone to see. The entire world watched as their friendship seemed to unravel in real time. Social media exploded. Forums lit up. Analysts began dissecting body language from months-old games, speculating when the moment of betrayal had occurred. But the truth, as it often is in sports, was messier than any viral clip or headline could explain. At first, Flau'jae's explanation seemed vague. She chalked it up to locker room stuff and media, noise. But fans weren't satisfied. These weren't two strangers with a professional disagreement. These were players who hugged after every win, who had inside jokes caught on camera, who stood side by side during the loudest moments of their young careers. You don't walk away from that without something breaking. You don't say, "We're not friends," without a reason that cuts deep. Then came the bombshell. Whispers turned into accusations when it was revealed that Flau'jae's own mother had helped fuel a rumor about Angel Reese's academic standing. A rumor that claimed her GPA sat at 1.7. A rumor that suggested Angel shouldn't have even been eligible to play. That wasn't just petty drama. That was a direct hit on Angel's credibility, her hard work, and everything she had accomplished at LSU. Imagine winning a national title, becoming the face of a program, only to have someone close to you imply you didn't deserve to be on the court in the first place. If Angel Reese was furious, it wasn't hard to understand why. That kind of betrayal doesn't fade quietly. It scorches. And suddenly, everything began to make more sense. The cold glances, the absence of joint interviews, the subtle distance on the bench. People who once laughed off rumors now started to believe them. The mask had slipped, and behind it, a much darker story was unfolding. As Flau'jae's comments made their rounds, people began to ask bigger questions. Was this just one friendship turned sour, or was this a pattern? Had something deeper been lurking behind Angel Reese's confident persona all along? Reports from Maryland, LSU, and now the Chicago Sky began to paint a consistent narrative. One by one, players who had once stood beside Angel were slipping away. At Maryland, there had been quiet tension. At LSU, Haley Van Lith, once considered another strong personality who could match Angel's fire, reportedly found her time with Reese emotionally draining. She transferred out after just one season. Now in Chicago, the signs were even louder. Marina Mabre, a key player for the Sky, left before the season even began, citing culture issues. She didn't name names. She didn't need to. The timing spoke for itself. Then came Kennedy Carter, another high-profile talent who posted openly asking fans where she should sign next. She was still under contract, still a restricted free. But the message was loud and clear. She wanted out. 2 players, 2 exits. One constant, Angel Reese. Fans began to piece together a puzzle they hadn't wanted to see. It wasn't just a broken friendship with Flau'jae. It wasn't just a rumor gone viral. It was a repeated, unsettling pattern. Wherever Angel went, drama followed. Teammates didn't just leave, they distanced themselves emotionally and professionally, and through all of it, Angel stayed at the center. The spotlight never dimmed, her interviews still trended, her highlight reels still played. On loop, she smiled on red carpets, landed endorsement deals, and grew her brand. But while the cameras captured her wins, they missed what was happening behind closed doors. The locker room was splintering. Her social media presence only added fuel to the fire. Fans noticed a recurring theme. Me, my brand. The imagery was always curated, always centered, and in a team sport like basketball, that kind of focus on the individual can create friction. Players want to win? Yes. but they also want to feel like part of something bigger. When one person consumes all the oxygen in the room, the rest eventually suffocate. Flau'jae didn't just speak for herself. She cracked open a door that had been nailed shut. And once it was open, all the tension, all the resentment, all the whispers rushed out like a storm. Suddenly, people weren't debating stats. They were debating culture. Could Angel Reese lead a team, or was she destined to fracture everyone she joined? Was her dominance on the court worth the chaos she left off of it? It's not an easy question. Angel is a powerhouse. Her rebounding ability is elite. Her defensive grit unmatched. She's charismatic, magnetic, and has one of the most recognizable faces in the sport today. But what happens when that magnetic force begins to repel instead of attract? Analysts who once praised her began to shift their tone. Fans who once defended her started asking hard questions. Could all of this really be a coincidence? Kennedy, Carter's open dissatisfaction, Marina Mabrey's quiet departure, Hailey Van Lith's emotional exhaustion, Flau'jae Johnson's very public breakup. Each story taken alone might have been dismissed, but together they painted a picture too vivid to ignore, and that's the most damning part. Silence. Silence. From teammates, from coaches, from people who once stood beside her. If this were all a misunderstanding, where were the voices defending her now? Where were the players saying, "No, you've got it wrong. Angel's misunderstood. She's a leader. She's one of us." But those voices never came. Instead, the silence grew louder. And silence can be deafening when you're already standing. So the Chicago Sky didn't just look disjointed this season, they looked broken. On paper, they had the talent. But on the court, something was missing. Chemistry, trust, unity. And fans started to wonder if the elephant in the room was wearing number 5. To make matters worse, the narrative began to shift outside the court, too. Angel's rise had always been meteoric. She became a symbol of confidence, of authenticity, of a new era in women's basketball. But now, people wondered if the same fire that made her unstoppable was also burning everything around her. What happened between Angel and Flau'jae wasn't just a petty feud. It was the unraveling of a myth. It showed the world that not all sisterhoods survive success. That the very things that bond us, the wins, the media, the fame, can also drive us apart. And for Angel Reese, it was a harsh reminder that when the spotlight never leaves, every shadow gets exposed eventually. Some still defend her. Some say she's just misunderstood, the victim of jealousy, of an unforgiving media, of teammates who couldn't handle the pressure. Maybe they're right. Maybe she's been judged unfairly. But even so, reputations aren't built by accident, and patterns don't lie. So the question remains, can Angel Reese change the story? Can she rebuild the trust of a team? Can she lead without division, dominate without destruction? The Chicago Sky have some soul-searching to do, but so does Angel, because no matter how many headlines she commands, how many highlights she delivers, or how many fans scream her name, if the people around her keep walking away, the wins won't mean much. This isn't about one fight, one rumor, or one lost friendship. This is about legacy. And right now, Angel Reese is at a crossroads. She can double down and stay the brand that breaks barriers but also breaks bonds. Or she can evolve, find the humility behind the hype, and prove that she's more than just a one-woman show. Because talent might get you to the league, but character, that's what keeps you there. And if the silence around her continues to grow, she may find that being the face of the league means very little when no one wants to stand beside you. The clock is ticking. And in a sport that demands unity, Angel Reese has to decide. Will she be remembered for the rebounds or for the rift? Only time will tell.